Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you happen to be. This is just a quick pop-up one. That's all to fill in for Jay because he's moving his stuff around. Rightio. Like I said, just a quick question and answer and general chit-chat one this morning. Right, to answer your question, Chris, I never, ever finish the outside of a bowl while it's facing outside. I always turn it around and just do a light cut to finish it up the thing, because I've always found that if you put a tenon on, they generally wobble a little bit. And I've noticed that even with some of the others that are mortise will give a little bit of wobble, but nobody ever seems to worry about it. So, and as Justin has said, the tenon could maybe a bit too long. You may not be forming a right angle up the base of the bowl where it seats in against the chuck jaws. So that's my tip. I use a screw chuck as well generally to do the outside. Put it on the chuck on the to turn the outside. And I might sand it with 120, hoping that it fits into the jaws properly, but 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. So it's just a light shearing cut to clear it up. No, I don't know. I don't know why you thought it was a no-no. You find it's only running out about a millimetre or so, and just a quick shear cut or a good cut up the outside. But it's I always use a shear cut coming. Wait on, I'll change cameras and I'll show you. So if you're coming, which camera is that on? I'll just drop these two into the background for a second. So you've got your, let's see if I can, all right, this will do. This is your bowl blank like this. So you form the outside of it first on your screw chuck. Now, I'll do basically a finishing cut to get it all right. And then when I turn it round, generally it's got a little bit of a wobble. Like it's only half a mil or a mil. So what I'll do is I'll start a shear cut from the headstock end and just run it up the outside. It's a bit difficult trying to get a proper cut with a chisel up there. So I don't just do a shear cut all the way up and true it up. Then I'll do the inside, finish the whole thing on the thing, and it's just quick and easy. No, most of my bowls come off the chuck, off the lathe raw, and I spray them if I do any bowls at all, or oil them after that off the lathe. Yeah, I must admit I very rarely use tailstock support, but yeah, for a safety feature, that's a good idea, Justin. It does keep tailstock support in the whole way. Oh, Neil's here.
Hello.
Hello?
I missed your bloody show again last night.
Yeah, well, serve yourself right.
I was exhausted last night.
How you going, Neil?
How do you do, everyone?
Teddy Bear Neil.
He left it.
Hello, who's demonstrating what? What am I looking at?
Well, read the title.
The title doesn't come through on my screen, so I have no idea.
It says pop-up Q&A in chat.
Oh, okay.
I'm just standing in for Jay because he's... Well, I thought he was moving, but he's not. He's polishing his bowl.
I was going
His
to say...
bowl, I said.
Right. And Robbo, you've got a picture of... What is that, a rest or something?
That's my lathe.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to work out what it was, that's all.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's just my lathe, that's all.
Oh, yeah.
He was just showing Chris something that was easier to show than explain.
Fair enough. No, I went to Ipswich Wood Club's open day yesterday. And it's funny how I know more members there than I do at my own club.
Mm. Well, that's because none of the bloody Gold Coast ones go to the turnarounds and things.
Yeah. We had 3 last year. That's pretty good. Or this year, should I say?
Yeah,
That's an improvement. But Gerard as usual, and there was 2 other guys. So.
Yeah. Good day. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. And yes, Rob CP really is coming along in leaps and bounds. It's bloody cold down there this morning, Neil.
Yeah.
You'd love it. It's 11. I've had the heater going for about half an hour now, and it's just brought the workshop up to 12 degrees.
Oh, jeez. I think we're heading for 28 today. Quite a hot one.
Oh.
Mind you, I'm still sitting inside with my cardigan on because it was cold last. Got down to, what was it, 8 degrees last night.
Oh, yeah.
It was a nice cold day, but yeah, it's supposed to be a hot one today. So I'm going to do some water blasting of some timber I picked up yesterday. Because after the Ipswich Club, I went out to my mate out there with Ant Atkinson to his yard. I didn't buy any timber. I just he's given me a big lump of that iridescent red type red ebony burl. And he wants me to make a bowl for his missus.
Oh, yeah.
So he's given me the burl.
Good morning, Yarpy.
I've got to blast it first to get all the bark and shit off. And he also gave me a big hunk of budgeroo that looks like it needs casting, so I'm going to do some work on that. And a few other things. So I've got to blast a bit. I thought a nice hot day would be good for blasting. No matter how well I try and protect myself, I always end up sopping wet.
Oh, that's situation normal. I do the same, unfortunately.
Yeah.
How you going, Yappy?
And Chris said that perfect today, 90 degrees or 33 degrees Celsius. It's a bit too hot for me. It's a bit too hot for me, but we work during that temperature as well, so it doesn't matter much.
So we've been working in the 40s at your place.
Yeah, I know we have, yeah.
I'm on TimberCon's site at the moment, seeing what they've got. They've got a few things on special that I need. So.
No, you don't. You don't need them. You want them. That's the difference. Let's get the terminology right, eh?
Oh, I need a new RZ mask because my old one's just about falling apart.
Oh yeah.
And they've got them on special, and they've got their filters that go in them on special. So. And I was at Dave Dresser's yesterday, and he's just put all of his up, and they're now 72, and he goes, give another month, they'll be $100. I said, wow. And then Timber kind of got them on special for 53. So I thought, I certainly wasn't going to pay $72 for a mask.
Yeah. And the fat axe. Yeah, I didn't expect it either.
The fat axe. Who?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
Paul,
think
his name is, eh?
Sorry, what was that, Justin? Jay?
His name's Paul, I think.
I don't know. I don't think he's ever given me his name.
I think someone said that yesterday, but I could be mistaken. It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to agree with that.
Well, I wasn't watching the chat, I must admit.
I bought myself some new 3-inch faceplates yesterday. I was at David's.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Very handy.
Yeah. Well, I've got quite a few faceplates, but I've got an 80mm Forster bit, and I'm thinking of if I'm propping those big chunks of timber with the crane, connecting a live centre at the tailstock end, and push that large bit of timber onto a Forstner bit that's in the headstock, that'll drive a nice flat area, which I can then attach the faceplate to.
I still wouldn't attach a faceplate to end grain, I'm afraid. It's just but then I
was going to use that bolt thing you were talking about. Make bigger holes and but even those I don't like putting into an uneven surface. I was trying to work out how to get an even surface there, and I thought, well, that 80mm Forstner bit should do it.
Yeah,
whether I can hold the log steady while it hacks away at it, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, well, that's
floating
another problem to be solved.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, food for thought. So I'm gonna make you one of your face plates with the big bolts hanging out and chopped off, etc.
Yeah.
That's going to be out of one of the face plates, and then I'll keep the other one. They're only $20 each, so I thought, what the hell, I'll grab a couple.
No, Fat Axe's name is Axel.
Okay.
And Justin's just ordered a 1/2-inch Sorby steb and a 1/2-inch spindle gouge from Jim for his Father's Day present. Yeah, for my Father's Day presents, that's what I got to do too, get them myself. If I waited for the kids, I'd never get anything.
Hey, at least you get the right ones, though.
Yeah, well, that's it.
That's true.
So, how you going, Axel? Where you from? Your last name's not Rose, is it?
No. He comes from the suburb of Melbourne, around Sunshine area somewhere.
I guess Neil was the only one that got that one, because he's the only one that got it.
Oh, no, I caught it too.
I got it, don't worry. Just chose to ignore it. Yeah, now Chris has asked, what if you pull the screws out and put in CA glue and run them back into the end grain? No, it's just the thing with me, I do not like using face plates in the end grain. I've had quite a few failures doing that. So, and Justin says, yeah, they just give me cash. It's easier when vouchers aren't available.
Yeah, but I've used that CA glue principle too for the screws. But they're long screws, and I make sure that what I'm turning is such that I can cut them. It's a 4-inch screw or a 6-inch screw in the wood, then that's just junk I cut off on the bandsaw later. Gives me more threads in the CA glue, because sometimes that's what a client wants. So I don't argue with clients as long as their check doesn't bounce. but they have a special. It's a screw with a bolt head, and
I'm actually looking at something like the size of a coach bolt.
Yeah, well, coach screws are coach bolt. Well,
Yeah.
they're coach
coach
screws,
screws.
not coach
Yeah.
bolts.
Dead right. So they've got some nice meat on them. I just need to drill the hole out more. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
well, the only place
Precision.
I've used them has been at urns, when people have their own piece of wood that they, for memorial reasons, want
Yeah.
it turned. Like I had one that had a heart on it and had it was a GI, and it was his wife when she was just a teenager, and him put a heart with their initials in it.
Mm.
And it was on their tree in the yard. And after he passed away, and that goes back to Gulf One, that's what he wanted. And so I took the chainsaw and made sure I had at least 8 inches more than I needed. And that was
Yeah.
my solution. I also use a good steady rest. I have one that 3 rollers that
Yep.
keeps it, so there's no pressure down on it. And I always push against all the time against the wood itself towards the headstock.
Oh, Jay,
Well,
noisy bugger.
you want me to move stuff around? I'm moving stuff around. All right.
Has his new lathe arrived yet?
No. I can't get it over to the shipping agent until lockdown's over.
Uh, is that because the lathe itself might be infected or carry the virus on it? Or
No,
the driver of the truck?
I might be infected. Although I've had COVID tests and everything, and they reckon I'm negative. So, and I've had my vaccine shots. So, I'll be back in a second. I'll just go and get the drive that I use.
It's a bit quiet in here for a Q&A, isn't it? What's going on?
Isn't
It's time for you need to learn some lathe maintenance.
Yeah, I just went through mine 2 days
All right, then.
ago.
Tell everyone now. Lathe maintenance. Start now. Go.
About once a year, I slide because I've got a sliding headstock and tailstock. I take the tailstock off and slide the headstock to the middle of the lathe.
Yeah.
I have a sheet sander, quarter size, sander that just it vibrates, and I use 220 emery paper, and I go over the bed, the angle, because there is an angle to the bed, plus there's a smaller angle that people don't see very often. That way you don't end up with cutting yourself on the bedways. But I go over that well with a sander and pick up all the little things, and then I actually take the time and take it down to 400, and I use a bit of oil, and it tends to work real well. And then alcohol to clean the oil out, and then use a good beeswax on it so things slide. Turn the banjo over and do the same thing. Because I find the bottom of the banjo picks up far more dust and dirt, and that's something we don't tend to feel or check. And all it does is smear whatever it has up and down. I do the same thing to the tailstock. The only thing I don't do that to is I don't take the head off and turn it over, because that's something that I rarely move down towards the tail end. Unless I got something really big to turn, I'll slide it down. But I do wax on a regular basis the bedways. Because if I can't move the banjo with one hand, that's when it realizes that, at least to me, I need to clean up the bedways and the bottom of the banjo.
Right, this is the drive that I normally use, except that the bolt's around the wrong way at the moment. I'll just put it up on full screen. Why don't?
You're live at the moment. I might have a look on YouTube so I can see it. Favorites, YouTube.
What's that for,
Are
Robo?
Are they machined in, Robo, or the
Sorry.
little teeth that are sticking out? Is that machined into it that way, or are
No,
they just inserts? Robo, or
sorry. Just mute your YouTube, Neil. No, they're just bolts that came through, and then I just cut them off with the angle grinder. They're threaded through and welded in the back.
Okay.
It's a heavy little bugger too.
What's that for, Robo? I missed that.
That's a drive spur for doing wet and heavy timber.
Okay.
But on the normal phone poles and flag posts and everything, I use a 2-inch drive like this one.
Yeah, I thought the bolts were gonna stick out more than that, Robbo.
They normally do, but that's the one I normally use on flag poles and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just a normal drive.
Got a question in the chat too from Faceplates.
Yeah, from Axel.
Yeah.
Neil can probably answer that better than I can, Axel, but I believe that as a carbide in America are probably the cheapest ones to get. Where do you get your carbide tips from, Neil?
Oh, I actually get them from EZ Carbide in America.
Yeah.
Oh, my buddy down the road. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
I have beta tested his stuff, and he's beta tested stuff I've invented. Ron Campbell. And yes, he does wear his kilt.
Yeah, that's as a carbide, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what he calls himself,
Carbide. Yeah, AZ Carbide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, well, given this isn't a hard timber, Robbo, and it's green, so it's going to be as soft as shit.
Yeah.
I was going to have the bolts sticking out at least sort of 50 mil.
Yeah, no, that. I think you'll find that 50 mil's too long. It won't seat against the plate.
Right, because you're going to have trouble driving it in if you like.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could.
Well, I'd start with that and then cut them back.
Fair. The other alternative is just center it and then drive your actual coach screws in. You actually use true coach screws rather than fixed to the plate at all.
Yeah, I still don't trust. No, because as I said to you the other day, if it's not flat across that end, it's just going to pull them out with natural rotation.
Yeah, but if I'm flattening it with a Forstner bit, that'll
but you've still got to yeah. It sounds bloody complicated to me. Like well, you know how quick I do those seats when I get going.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't muck about putting screws and things in. I just put them straight in like a spindle turning.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, I like your tailstock a lot better, that you can put a spanner on it rather than just turning a little flywheel on it. The flywheel can only apply so much pressure.
Oh, yeah, the rod that I put through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much prefer yours, but yeah.
I tell you what, that took some working out, actually, how to do that, funnily enough.
Yeah. I'll have some fun mounting, but I've got plenty of time to do it. I've still got to trim all those blanks off, so it's got a good 1.5 inches of deadwood all the way around, and they're up to 750 diameter.
Yeah, I lost half of that.
And although my lathe takes 800 diameter.
Yeah, something's going on with your sound, Neil.
But the hello.
Yeah, it's cutting out, like as if it's going through 2 or 3 places.
How's everyone? Can everyone else hear me, or is it just everyone, or just Robbo, or?
No, you were cutting out a little bit there, Neil.
Right, okay.
You've stopped now, but you might have just had a quick drop out. Wireless is always looking around for a better connection, so it might have just been doing that.
Yeah. Well, basically, what I was saying, Robbo, is my lathe can only take 800 diameter.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, a maximum of 800, but it can only take the 800 for 500 long.
Mm.
So, considering these are 750 long, I've got to cut them back to 600 with the chainsaw before I can even get them on my lathe.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I'll get the chainsaw out and lob off all the dead wood.
Yeah. Should have brought them down to do them on reg.
Yeah, well, it should have take 10 seconds to take it off with reg. Yeah.
You make it 3 meters long at 800 diameter if you like then.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, don't have a reg, such as life. We always want something bigger, but I wouldn't be able to fit it in anyway. So,
well, that's true. Geez, you'd have to clean up and move something.
Well, I have to move walls and everything I put in there. So yeah, that's what I like about the 3040 is it's only sort of 600 long until I expand it to out to the meter. So it's really good from that perspective.
Well, that's the problem. We get addicted to one type of lathe, and then we kind of kick it around like we do our first girlfriend, are nice to it, and it's still there, but we want something else that's bigger, better, maybe own their own car, in high school. Then the next thing you know, like Jay, you got to buy a new shed in order to make the lathe that you wanted fit it. And then his new shed is, how big a lathe can he really get in there before he has to buy another one?
I don't know what you're talking about, Bob.
Well, you got a whole city block for a shop.
No, not quite. Sometimes it's too flaming big, I must admit. Sometimes it's too small.
Mind you, in the outer shed, Bob, Robbo's got lathes stacked 3 high. And he just gets his forklift and picks which one he wants to use and brings it in.
Yeah, very handy sometimes.
There's only
and everybody wants to be in his will.
Actually.
Sorry, I missed all of that because you talked.
Only 2 lathes fixed on the floor.
Why don't you run a school when COVID's over?
I do run lessons down here.
How many lathes can you have running at one time?
I can have 6 or 7 going at once. And I have on the odd occasion.
Because there would be a point where you simply run out of current available.
No. It's got good feed into the shed. It's got 45 amps, I think, into the shed. And if necessary, I can run another circuit from the house as well on a long lead.
Yeah, I got 50 into mine. But that's 50 at 110.
Jeez.
But the price of the wire to run it was insignificant. And you're going to get a panel. You never know what you're going to expand
about 40
to. So
amp.
a couple dollars more for a bigger panel.
Yeah, the only time we've ever had trouble is when we were doing a contract for Telstra, and we were making spools, and I had 2 big overhead routers running, a spindle moulder, bandsaw, big industrial pedestal drill. What else have I got? Oh, and the compressors, that's right. So, because all the overhead routers are air operated. So I used to have to split the circuits up between the house and the shed on the odd occasion. And boy, did the meter nearly jump off its gimbals, I tell you.
Utility company loved you, eh?
Yeah, I think they invented digital ones for me because I couldn't go fast enough.
Actually, I was quite impressed when I got the big Powermatic, because it's 220. It actually pulls far less than my old Reeves drive. But it pulls it on 2 legs. For us, it's 220. So it's 20 amps on it. It's a 20 amp breaker on 2 legs. So, but I've never blown the main breaker for the shop yet. Occasionally a small one. I got GFI, the ground fault breakers.
Yeah, well, that's a legal requirement out there, earth detection.
Yes, that is now here in the States as it is in Canada by law. Even some fancy stuff that you actually have to bury and install outside or have it done. They come in and drill 2 holes and a sensor between them, and that sensor now feeds into the panel to a special breaker. So they're actually measuring the current through the earth and not through some strap that you've got fastened to a hot water or a cold water pipe somewhere as a ground. In older houses, new houses, they got to put a big ground rod on, but now they use this device because it's far more sensitive. And it isn't cheap.
What's going on?
But here in electricity, they by satellite can turn off my air conditioner. It's on a separate circuit, a separate panel. They say satellite, but I don't know what. To help balance the local loads in high demand times, so they don't have to put bigger cabling in. So they can take mine and turn it off for 10 minutes and rotate what they turn on and off to the point where it keeps them from having to put in a lot of new cable and transmission circuits.
Well, they with our new digital meters, they can shut your house off, or they can shut your hot water down, or whatever they feel like doing, all from a control panel. But there's an interesting YouTube video on what caused the Texas blackout, and it goes into how they adjust all the power loads and everything. Right, Justin's asked, when my half-inch spindle gouge arrives, should I keep the face flat like a spindle roughing gouge, or give it a light fingernail grind to keep the wings out of the way? No, a thumbnail grind on it, Justin, works the best, like this one. Why not? Just a fingernail grind like that. Don't get it too pointed here. It's got to be rounded. Like so. You can go back a little bit on the wings if you like. Why don't? I think I've got another one here. No, I haven't. I've actually put it away. Jeez, I'm slipping.
Wasn't he talking about his roughing gouge, though?
No, spindle gouge.
Oh, okay. I thought he was talking about his roughing.
No.
Right.
When my half-inch spindle gouge arrives, should I keep the face flat like a spindle roughing gouge, or give it a light fingernail grind to keep the wings out of the way?
Ah, right. Okay, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Conventional grind.
That was a squeaky door.
Yeah. Not me.
In the horror house.
No, it's here. When summer comes, the doors want to squeak compared to what the winter is. I just need to get some oil on the hinges. But that also lets me know when the kids come and go late at night.
That's just your wood's moving in the heat.
Yeah, that's right, Justin. Try all my tools are sharpened at number 2 on the woodcut jig, and you get the sweep on them by the amount of rotation that you go backwards and forwards over like that when you're sharpening them. The further over you go, of course, the longer the sweep you get back down the wings, the longer the wings get. So you only move it about 15 and 20 degrees off vertical just to get the nice curve in the front of them.
Anyway, guys, I've got to disappear. My phone's getting red hot from this. So.
Yeah. All right then, Neil. Good to see you.
Cheers.
See you later. I was going to water seal my shed yesterday, and my back decided that I wasn't going to do it, and then I come out this morning to do it, and it rained last night. It's like should have done it yesterday.
Yeah, so now you can't do it. That's right.
No.
I'll be back in half a second.
Yeah.
Won't it dry up on you so you can still do it?
No, I need a couple of days of no rain for it to dry.
Oh, yeah. So you still can do it.
No, it requires a clean, dry surface, this stuff, unfortunately.
Well, you don't expect a day or two without rain?
Spring's a bit up in the air, really. Here it transitions back to winter rain whenever it feels like in the first month of spring. So we get a downpour in the middle of the night for no reason other than, you know.
And then in October we get wind.
Yeah. So it's fun.
Well, at least it waters the crops in the garden.
Yeah. Not helping the shed builders, but yeah, it's helping the farmers.
I know, they'll whinge because they get too much rain. All right. I was getting close to lunchtime, so in another few minutes I'll have to disappear.
The big question I have is, what's the doctor say?
Well, I haven't got an appointment yet. They're still analysing all the scans and everything, I suppose. So as soon as I get word on those, then I'll get to know, I suppose.
Yeah, and the longer it takes, it means it's, at least in my book, it can't be that urgent.
So, yeah, they haven't rung up and said, get yourself into hospital straight away. So that's probably a good thing.
Yes. Yep. The doctor hasn't said come in and see me right away. So.
Yeah. Yes, I've got a lot of farming relations, Justin. Justin's saying he's been watching Clarkson's farm. Opens my eyes to what farmers need and why they complain about the weather. And as I said, I come from a farming family in a lot of ways, and a lot of my relations are farmers, and I know what they go through. And it only takes one rainstorm and it just wipes out everything. Or if they don't get enough rain at one time, just about need a crystal ball. That was what the early farmers that came out from England found. They couldn't farm Australia like they could England.
Yep. Got to do sheepies.
Yeah, that's why merinos were bred.
That's pretty much every school holidays when I was a teenager. I was on a farm.
Dark matters just come in. Just signed up for the Robbo Robertson naked turning class. 5 months of naked turning. Get your place fast before all places are filled. See you later, Axel. Thanks for coming in.
See you later, Axel. Have a good day.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Doc, if he has to be you, so do the students.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
Do a TV series on it, like the Naked and Afraid series that we keep getting advertising here for.
Yeah, no, that ain't going to happen, Dark. I can tell you that. I couldn't stand the laughter, I'm afraid.
Well, to be honest, Dark, you got more chance of him turning a pen.
Yeah, that's right.
You haven't got one of them things in your hand again, have you?
Sorry?
I can hear some wheezing going on there. Have you got one of them things in your hand again?
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for coming in. It's my lunchtime, so
Yep.
I better go and have it or I'll be in strife again, and I'd rather be in strife with you lot than the wife, I can assure you of that.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
you.
everybody have a good day, and I'll catch you later. See ya.
All
Bye.
right, cool. Thanks for that.
That's all right, Dark. We understand. I know the feeling well sometimes.